What's happening, Octo family? We're going to take a look at just some stock news. I was trying to put another big video together more about mortgage stuff, but I just kept going with the news and I was like, dude, I got to get this out. Post-election-ish, are we 100% done yet? I don't know. There's a little bit of a fight for a week or two, or who knows how long. We'll find out though. XPEV, NIO XPEV. Did you guys see XPEV today? 30% ripper plus. Absolutely unbelievable. Anyone get to partake in this run today? Let me know in the comments. My question is though, when is this going to consolidate? And when it does, how far is it going to drip back down? Because if you can see what I see right here, we got some major gaps we got to fill. We got a gap all the way down to 24. I've also got a gap at $30. Right away I look at this and think, can you imagine if you're short of this right now? And let's just say tomorrow it dumped all the way to fill these gaps. Does it look like a trade you want to be in? One of our followers on Twitter said, it's American oil shills trying to profit off the EV revolution without supporting American electronic vehicle companies and pissing off the constituents. It kind of wraps it up. Just kind of odd, right? Both of these, what I pointed out on Twitter too, and my Patreon before everything, of course, these have been running exactly the same as far as percent ups. At one point today, they were both like at 31%, 32, 33% up. What does that tell me? By the way, these have big, huge floats, share dilution. And so to get these to move like they did, NIO and XPEV, it takes a lot of money. So what does that tell me? Big boys are putting in the same amount of money on each, and they were just writing up these two like bonkers crazy. Here's NIO, went from 28 to 42, a couple days, whatever. Anyone still in NIO from back when we started talking about it, I don't know, months ago or something? When we were wondering when it was going to get back above 19. Now it's over double that. Holy Toledo. But again, same on this one. We might have some gaps to refill. We definitely have one all the way down to $24. Whenever this thing decides to stop, is it going to go all the way back down to 24 or below? Can you imagine being along for the ride to short that? That's what's going through my mind. Look at this volume though, just curling right up like a wave. Unbelievable. Amid election chaos, Mr. Jeff Bezos, y'all heard of him? Guy who started Amazon, is Mr. Amazon. He sold $3 billion worth of Amazon shares. Remember this guy? I think this is a total of around $5.5 billion he sold this year alone. But he just sold these today, $3 billion worth. Why do you think that is? Why? Well, remember that tax increase that's coming from Camellia? Raising top income tax 39.6%, raising corporate tax 35%, 4% extra tax on 100,000 plus income producing households, financial transaction tax of 0.2 on stocks. It's really going to hurt, by the way, for day traders. Financial transaction tax 0.1% on bonds. How many people do bonds, but still it's going to hurt. Regardless, I think we are going to see quite a bit of what Mr. Bezos is doing before the year ends. We're talking like an extra 9%. If you waited till January to sell something and you're going to get taxed an extra 9% on it, would you go ahead and sell right away? I think I would. I think we will continue to see this trend before 2021. I think so. How about more SPACs that are going to LOI? I think that too. So because of this is creating a huge panic right now with SPACs. You think they were freaking out when this whole thing happened in March? They're freaking out now because they know they want to cash out because the homeboys starting it want to get their cool 100 million, 200 million, whatever it may be, 50 million finder fee. They want to cash out now before this comes into play. So what do y'all think about Bitcoin? I think it's to the point where it can't stop and it won't stop. What do you think? This thing broke this line that we drew in, this 45-degree sandwich here. This green line, was it at like about 1,300, let's call it, 13,000. It's broken that. It's past this other horizontal we have at 14,672. It is straight in bull market right now. What's holding it back? I don't see much. Unless we get to over 18. Possible hang up around like 16.5. It should be able to keep going though. Y'all get into Bitcoin. How about Riot Mara? Riot or Mara? Y'all see my video on Bitcoin and how to make money without buying Bitcoin? We got to thank PayPal for that, because remember, it just got released with PayPal. I think maybe starting today, you can convert currencies to and through PayPal, USD, whatever you got. Want to switch it up and turn it into Bitcoin? Go for it. PayPal. Thank you, PayPal. SRAC, momentous. Got bad news bears. This is nuts to me. The CEO of a $1.2 billion space company can't use its technology. It's also sad, man. The Russian founder of a business going public in a $1.2 billion transaction is not allowed to work on his own company's products because of the U.S. rules intended to keep advanced space technology away from geopolitical rivals. Momentous Space was founded in 2017 to develop a last-mile transportation system for satellites launched into orbit using a novel water-based propulsion system. The company is expected to go public at NASDAQ early 2021 after a special purpose acquisition company, Stable Road, is bringing them in. So what's the deal? As far as I dove in, I read a bunch, but the dude is from Russia. He kind of like got kicked out of Russia a little bit. It almost seemed like that other Russia SPAC we're talking about, where the dude got kicked out of Russia, so he came to the United States to do a SPAC. This guy, and even in their SEC filings, I dove in, I gave it to my Patreons earlier today so they could read it, but it basically says he can't do anything. How are they going to get around it? I don't know. But it even says in the SEC filings that this could cause problems. The one solution I did see was they were talking about how he could try to become an American, get American citizenship. I feel like if he could have, he would have already done it because he knows this is a big deal. So I don't know. This is freaky to me though. Do what you will with your shares on here, but I would like to wait until this thing clears up before I take a long position in it. Hold on to your boots. Land. Y'all see my farming videos? Gladstone. Ticker LAND, Land. Gladstone. Q3 results came out today. Who are they? They are actively acquiring farms across the United States. We offer owners and farmers 3 options. For farmers who are selling their land, for farmers who ideally identify land that they want to farm but not own, for sellers who do not want to farm the land they got. These people are just swooping up land and renting it and leasing it and taking pieces. Love this play. It's like a REIT, but for farmers. Gladstone Land announces third quarter 2020 results. For the third quarter ending September 30th, a description of funds from operations and the NAV financial measures appeared at the end of this press release. All per share, keep going here, third-party portfolio announces proprietary acquisitions, acquired 8 new farms. They got 8 new farms consisting of 3,473 total acres across 3 different states, including 2 new states, for approximately $39.2 million on a weighted average basis. These farms were acquired at an initial minimum net capitalization rate of 5.4%. However, the leases on these farms contain certain provisions, annual rent, escalations. So they even do a thing where it's like a balloon payment. Like, okay, we'll start you at 5% rent, but once you start producing, we're moving up to 9%. And they just keep going with it. Leasing activity, everything's just increasing. It's all positive news. And we've been releasing that they've been buying like a pistachio farm a couple months ago, and everything looks good to me. Sold 289,494 shares of our 6% Series C accumulative redeemable preferred stock for net proceeds of about $6.6 million. So they pulled out some stock, but everything looks good. Increased and paid distributions. Increased the monthly distribution run rate for common stock by 0.22% and paid total cash distributions of $0.13 per share. So this is, one of those growth stocks, is it? Something like that. I want to show you these lines here we've got at 23.25. I'm sorry, that's a time. 14.12, 14.15, 14.39. We've got this big run up we had last time after March because earnings were doing good and people were buying stuff that farmers produce. It came down real low, but we're sitting in these massive lines that have been touched many times. It just kind of chilled. It went up a little bit today, like 2 or 3%. That's kind of common for like farmy stuff though. They're just not NIO. They're not electronic vehicles, I guess. But regardless, everything is looking good. If you want a long-term hold, invest in food. Food ain't going nowhere. This might be a decent place to take a look. Anyone land yet? Top buys and sells for today. This comes from Fidelity. NIO was number one. The number one traded thing on Fidelity the other day was NIO. Number 2 is Alibaba, Apple, Tesla, Amazon. 6th, though, Hoff, Hall of Fame. Anyone still in the Hall of Fame Resort Entertainment Company? That was the 6th most traded thing on Fidelity today. That blew my mind. They had some news where they're partnering up with Sports Illustrated. Does anyone even know who that is anymore? And it mooned. It went up like 200 or 300%. And then I think people started taking profits. We'll go to XPEV, Microsoft, but XPEV is up there. NIO's number 1. Unreal. Take a look at this chart if you want to. They've got more information. Plug, though. Plug. Did a video about them. Ranked number 26th. Higher than General Motors or Square or PayPal. Pretty incredible if you ask me. Plug. So we were talking about when we were breaking out of this channel, I was showing it was going to come down. It's going to retouch this line, which it did. Boom, boom, retouch the line, and then what happened? Mooned. They came back down, people took profit, and now mooned again. But we still got stopped out around $18.84. We need to break and fly past that. We need to get to 19 before I would say this is total bull market, but it's just hitting that wall. So we'll see what happens in the next couple days, though. People start taking profits, go back to 14. Might be a buyer then. Right. To the next run to 18. We'll have to find out. How about SAMAW? Talking about this one, green leaves. This thing jumped. All those Biden stocks I was talking about in my presidential video a couple days ago. All these green leaf ones going up, flying. 20-30% on your money in a day. Ain't that bad, right? Anyone else any other plays like this? Let me know. Oh man, Shift, ticker SFT, announced warrant exchange offer. You're going to love this one. Warrant exchange offer earlier this morning. This comes from, by the way, SPAC Insider from their website. If you haven't been there, check it out. Got a link here. This morning, Shift Technologies, which recently combined with Insurance Acquisition Corp, announced its intention to offer Shift's outstanding public warrant holders in exchange for shares of Shift common stock and cash for each warrant tendered. The details are that for each warrant, a holder will receive 0.25 of Shift common stock, and then it goes on from there. You're going to have to read more, but come in here and try to read the details. I haven't had time to really dive into it. It personally didn't look too good to me, though. But the stock was rallying today. So I don't know. Maybe I missed something, but to me it didn't look very good. Anyone in Shift, let us know what's really going on in there. How about silver? And by the way, also keep in mind before we move on from that if you don't know about SPAC warrants, when it comes close to merger, sometimes they do some funky stuff where they just change stuff. So they might be saying this now, but sometimes like a week later they'll be like, oh, by the way, we're just going to give you 10 cents now for that, or 10.1% of a common stock. That's why I always get out of warrant way before merger happens, because they do funky stuff and rip people off a lot. Just be careful. That's all I'm saying. Silver, what's up? Silver ripped. Pretty much everything ripped today, didn't it? Even silver. The excuse on this is, people are now scared. That's the excuse, right? People are scared now. They've been scared this whole time. Come on, man. Silver went up, though. Didn't go crazy, but it had a nice green candle for us. Where are we sitting? We're finally above this 626. What's stopping it now? Not much. I mean, we've got this 2620 that we should be headed to, because it's above all these other lines that we could have been drawn through here. So we still should see silver and gold still rallying for the next couple days. How about SPY? Well, it's doing this fake out that we were thinking is going to happen. You know, people got to cash a little bit. Remember, people got scared here, got to cash. They were still kind of holding. Then the election thing happened. This pink bar put in here. Of course, it bottomed out exactly on this 45-degree angle. Said if it didn't break, then we're fine. It didn't break. Popped down, and people now took their cash and are like, okay, we're going to be saved now, and everything's going to be good. I don't believe this. Does anyone else believe this? Ended post-market at 350.93 and just was gapping up past 48 hours. Just gap up. Think we're going to refill these gaps? At some point. Real question is, when that happens, is it going to finally blast through this 45-degree angle? I'd say if it could go down in the next couple of days, it'd be at 327.50, somewhere around there. Watch it. Regardless, you know, if you're still not in hedges, it might be a good time. Like I say, get in when they're high. When the market is going great, everyone's laughing and dancing, that's when you buy the hedges. Earnings coming out. Holy Toledo. Dude, so Monday, Nikola, is anyone in Nikola? Put it down in the comments. But look at this, Workhorse is on Monday too. Wouldn't that be funny if they accidentally slipped into, like, you know, pictures of the USPS thing or something more? I don't know. At this point, I'm over it. I think a lot of people are too. Come on, United States Postal Service. I think that Trump did make a big mistake by not having Louis DeJoy release this information. I think it definitely would have helped out with some of those votes that he was looking to get, you know. So unfortunately, we didn't get a release for Workhorse before the election. But they have come out straight up and said that it's going to happen before the end of the year, that they will announce. Will it happen? Who knows now, right? I'll hold my breath until it happens. You know, if you want to get into this, it's probably a decent time. You know, it's sitting pretty darn low. It's like at 19 or something. Highs have been like 28. Decent place to be in. Just watch it. Wheaton Precious Metals, though. That's a big gold and silver company. If you want to maybe follow that. Earnings, a lot of the earnings for the precious metal company has been very good, very strong. Canopy Growth, you all know what that is. That's coming up on Monday. Got DraftKings on next Friday. Beyond Meat. Come take a look at this if you haven't. I'm going to go ahead and get this out. I'm going to be working on another mortgage video for y'all. Any other plays you want me to take a look at, put them down in the comments. I'm out.